Welcome to my driver power rankings prior to the Japanese Grand Prix. So here we will rank the drivers from 20th to 1st on the performance relative to their teammate and relative to their car. So in P20, no surprise, is Liam Lawson, who got demoted to Racing Bulls after just 2 races, which I think is brutal and not fair. We have several other more experienced drivers struggle in new cars. You can say they're, for example, Sainz, Hamilton, Hülkenberg, and the Red Bull is notoriously known to be a difficult car to drive. Promoting him after only 11 races was also not fair, I think, not to him and not to other drivers who could have competed for this Red Bull seat. But on the other hand, we have to say he did not perform whatsoever. I don't have one single session where I would say, yeah, he did a good performance. And we have to remind ourselves that Perez was sacked because he was basically no help in the constructors. And Red Bull wants Max to win their 5th title. I think they were pretty clear about this because they failed to do this with Vettel. And they need a second car which performs. So I think for Lawson, he was basically in the wrong place at the wrong time, this kind of situation. And maybe, yeah, going to the Racing Bull, which is the easier car to drive, maybe helps him. So P19 is Jack Doohan, who in my opinion is most likely to be replaced next, so after Lawson. So I think they signed Colapinto for multiple years and he's ready to jump in that seat. Actually, you have to say that Doohan has shown decent quali speed compared to Gasly, but I think it doesn't help his case with the many crashes he's having and other incidents with other drivers. But I think it's also like a similar situation to Lawson. He is a rookie and he's supposed to do these mistakes, but yeah, they don't let him do this because they have Colapinto ready. And P18 is a bit of a surprise right now in this point, but it's Carlos Sainz. He's clearly overshadowed right now by Albon, not up to speed yet with the car. Got a lucky point in China, which is like typical for Sainz, that he always gets points even if he's not. But I expect him to get better every weekend, and we will see an effect already at this weekend that he had a 2-week break where he could analyze what went wrong. P17 is Fernando Alonso, who hasn't finished a race in front of Stroll, or I should say hasn't finished the race in all. He finished the sprint, but yeah. DNF'd in both main races. One was his own fault in tricky conditions in Melbourne. The other one was mechanical failure. But he's still Fernando Alonso, so it wouldn't surprise me if he finishes top 5 in a chaos race in Japan, because he's still one of the greatest. Next one is Nico Hülkenberg, who is also one of the drivers who's not comfortable right now in his new car, which is also a really bad car, the Kick Sauber. He doesn't show his quali speed he clearly has had over the last years. He collected points nevertheless in Australia, so you have to rate him for this, but it was basically by a good strategy and surviving in the wet conditions, which is strong but has nothing to do with pace, and he needs to step up in comparison to Bortoleto. So we are getting to P15, which is Isaac Hatcher. Yeah, he basically did not start his first race due to a rookie mistake in the formation lap, but he also showed decent speed in quali in all of the quali sessions he participated in. I think he needs to convert this quali performance in a good race performance and the points finish. But I think, especially in China, it was more of the team's fault with the strategy, what I mentioned in the team video. And he gets a new teammate in only his 3rd race, or basically 2nd race, Formula 1, in Liam Lawson. So we will have to compare him now to a new teammate. In P14, we have Gabriel Bortoleto, who is on pace with Hülkenberg so far. Did a few rookie mistakes, spinning, the crash in Melbourne, of course, in the difficult conditions, but you also have to say he has a difficult car, and I think he is in a good spot to be a rookie because he's in the worst car and he only can learn from Hülkenberg, and I think he will, and right now he's performing good. P13, Pierre Gasly, who also kind of a disappointment. Yeah, you can say he was expected to be at the top of the midfield right now, and he has failed to score so far. Also was pretty close with doing in quali in these sessions, but he's still Pierre Gasly, and I think he will perform good in the car he is given. I also think that Alpine is strongly focusing on 2026 already, so it's not really his fault he didn't perform so far. In P12, we have Kimi Antonelli, who is doing a fantastic job in Mercedes. Needs to find a bit more quali speed. His race pace is really strong. Australia for a first race in these conditions was really impressive, but I think he has this relatively low spot in the ranking because, yeah, of the gap to Russell, who is of course one of the best drivers on the grid, and I consider this especially in quali where he has, yeah, a bit of a gap to Russell. He needs to improve this, but he's doing better than expected for sure so far, P12. And P11 is also a rookie, or kind of a rookie, with Oliver Behrmann. I think his performance in China was already iconic with the Chow passing other drivers. Quali pace versus Ocon was decent so far. You have to give him credit for that. He crashed a few times in Australia though in free practice, but I think you have to give him that. The car was nowhere in this session, so it doesn't matter, and he is doing great overtakes, scored some points in China. All in all, a good performance. And the same goes for his teammate Esteban Ocon, who is in P10. I think he did an impressive turnaround in China. He finished P5 in the race. I think he did a mega job. His move versus Antonelli was, yeah, really ballsy. He did a really fantastic move over the grass. He needs to rectify this high position in the rankings in the next races. I think you cannot rank Australia pretty good because the car was nowhere, but I think, yeah, he has to continue with this and maybe he can climb up even higher in the rankings. Next is Charles Leclerc, who's in P9. I think China was not his track this year, and I think it wasn't before. He improved over the weekend though, but I also think that Hamilton is too close for only his second race in the same car, and he needs a clean race as is his team as well. The same goes for Hamilton, of course, who is in P8, but he did an amazing sprint performance, which shows why he's one of the greatest of all time. He's still learning the car, but he's also Lewis Hamilton, and he's the highest ranked person in this ranking who has a new car this season, so I think he's doing a good job. Also doing a good job in P7 is Lance Stroll. I think right now the surprise of the season so far. I would call him even Mr. Consistency, picks up the pieces if they, yeah, are given to him. But you also have to say that Alonso has not finished so far a race, so he's expected to drop further down in the rankings. The next one in the ranking is in P6, Yuki Tsunoda. I think he showed incredible speed and consistency so far. He seems to be matured a lot over the winter, but he needs results every weekend. I think right now he only got a result in the sprint race in China, and especially now in the Red Bull, where he is watched so much. He is under so much pressure against Max Verstappen in his new car. So I would be surprised if he scores in his first race in Suzuka, which is also his home race, but you never know. And in P5 I have a little controversy because I have the championship leader there, Lando Norris. You can also argue that he has done mistakes in every event so far. His sprint race in China was really horrible from the qualifying to the race. He improved in the main race, and I think this was a first good step in the direction that he needs to accept if he cannot win or be the fastest in a session. And I think he will not lose the championship because of his pace or the car's pace, but he needs to establish to be McLaren's clear number one, and for this he needs consistency and also results. P4 is, yeah, as I would call him right now, the king of the midfield, Alex Albon. I think right now he did a nearly perfect season so far. He matched already his points finished of last season. He's clearly the number one speed-wise at Williams so far, and also with the results. And if it rains in Japan, who knows, he's also maybe already a podium candidate. We will see. podium is the right word right now, because we are getting to P3, and this is Oscar Piastri, who did only, I think, one mistake so far in this season, but it was really costly. Cost him at least 16 points, and if he would have the 16 points, he would lead the championship right now. But I think how he responded to this mistake in China was really, really good, and I think this year he is definitely in the championship fight with his teammate if the car's staying the strongest. And P2 in his rankings and also in the drivers' standings right now is Max Verstappen. And if you see his car, you ask yourself the question how he is in P2 with this bad car. And if it rains in Suzuka, who knows, he can maybe win the race. And if the Red Bull just gets a bit better over the year, he will be so difficult to beat for the championship fight. And I also would say he's interchangeable with number one, who is George Russell, but like Max Verstappen, he performed right now in every single session so far this year. And I think also like Verstappen, he has the chance to win the championship if the McLarens take points off each other and he continues to score points, consistent. And if I said Verstappen is my dark horse to win the wet race in Suzuka, George Russell is maybe for the dry race a dark horse because how the Mercedes performed in cold conditions in the past, but of course he is also under massive pressure though, because his rookie teammate is really quick and he needs to make sure that he doesn't get to him. So these were my driver ranking pre-race Suzuka. We will see after the race how the rankings will change, and see you guys after this. Goodbye.